Chapter 6, Level 2, Preference. Is knowledge controlling you, or are you controlling knowledge? I use knowledge as the tool by which I engage my preferences in life. At the second level of attachment, we still move with the awareness of the authentic self. We recognize our ability to attach ourselves to something as we engage in the present moment, but we are also able to let go of the attachment when the moment has passed. We see ourselves as a reflection of life in the dream of the planet, and we attach and detach ourselves with ease simply by recognizing and letting go of that reflection. Here is an example. Do you remember playing make-believe as a kid? I recall that before beginning the game, we would all discuss the rules we would be playing. Then, we would each draw from our knowledge of what was needed to create a mask that resembled us in that role so we could play. Next, we would take on the persona of that role. Our faces would change as soon as we started playing, and our behavior would adapt to fit the battlefield, the hair salon, the dinner table, the hospital, or even a day in the office. We made these games so much fun. What made these games so much fun is that we were using our imaginations and played our parts to create a fantasy world in which we could all engage each other in different scenarios, as if we were playing in a dream with others while we were awake. As much fun as it was to engage in these games with our friends and family, when the game was over, we took off the masks that we created by our knowledge and went back to being ourselves. At level 2, we have the awareness that knowledge is a tool that provides us with the information we need to make choices about where we wish to place our attention and take action. But at this level, we don't distort the information we perceive. We are using it to engage only in this moment. We can choose to adapt in accordance with the present life situation without losing the awareness of their authentic self, without the need to project a false image of self. In the Toltec tradition, this is called controlled folly. The awareness and honoring of self as we engage the people around us who project an image or mask onto us. Our awareness allows us to use the temptation to become attached to that projected mask, but maintain clarity. At this level of attachment, we don't forget we are playing a game, which makes it easier for us to detach once the game is over. This awareness allows us to live without needing or distorting knowledge to fit our individual points of view. Our attachments, and thus knowledge at this stage, is still our ally. It is not corrupted by our sense of self-importance or any form of conditional love. Our relationship with knowledge allows us to engage life as it is. We are able to make choices with our reason, and we perceive the difference between truth and distortion. And knowledge is a clean and perfect reflection of life. From the Toltec standpoint, this is the clean mirror. We see every situation as it is, unclouded by smoke. We have the awareness that knowledge is the perfect reflection of life and that we are life. We have the awareness that the act of engaging in life is an act of love, and because we are choosing the direction in which we want to go and how we want to live, this is the act of unconditional love for ourselves. By approaching our lives as a work of art based on our own self-love, this allows us to unconditionally love the people in our lives for who they are without needing to domesticate them to see our points of view. Respect for the manifestation of our loved ones' own individual dreams, whether or not we agree with their choices, is always present at this level of attachment. Our love for self allows us to give love to the community. After all, we cannot give or share what we don't have. Even every thought and idea that forms our belief system has power only through our agreements in the form of yes or no, and it is the preference of how we want to engage the dream of the planet and life. The word Toltec means artist in English, and life is a canvas for the Toltec art. I am aware that knowledge is an instrument by which I am able to interact with the world. and my yeses and nos are the chisels or the paintbrushes at which I create. I engage in the Toltec tradition by choice, fully aware that the name Toltec refers to an action or agreement belonging to a philosophy. Not calling myself a Toltec wouldn't lessen my agreement, nor the lessons I learned from this oral tradition. This means my agreement is not subjugated to an identity. My knowledge is not in the form of a mask that gives meaning to my definition of self. I am free to choose to agree, disagree, scrutinize, and engage with the Toltec philosophy or any other as much as I want. I am free to relate and engage in relationships with other people who have preferences for another tradition or philosophy. I can change my mind when I no longer fully agree, or I may agree with it my whole life. That is true with every belief I have. I engage it for as long as I want to engage it, knowing full well that I am a living being with the full potential to experience life with or without that agreement. This is what gives power to my agreements. I make them because I want to. This is my art, my agreement. I allow myself to experience life in its ever-changing truth and love, with love. Think about the individual who chooses to eat healthfully, and through his search, she has chosen as her preferences to follow a vegan diet, a diet that includes no animal products. She uses this knowledge to inform her choices when she eats, but she does not use her knowledge to identify herself as vegan, nor does she use the knowledge to domesticate herself or others by it. If she chooses to have ice cream, she can do so without self-judgment and then re-engage the vegan diet afterward if she so chooses. She uses knowledge to engage her preference with regard to her nutrition without ever losing her awareness of self. Now substitute the example of the vegan diet with a lifestyle choice of your own. Do you engage in this choice with preference, or is it a rigid framework by which you judge yourself and your self-worth? If the latter, you know you are attached to a level beyond preference. Our attention gives direction to the bridge that allows us to express and share with one another our knowledge of life, the agreements by which we construct our relationships, and as well as express our preferences. With awareness, knowledge remains the bridge of communication because between us, a clear foundation. I'm going to start that sentence over, sorry. With awareness, knowledge remains the bridge of communication between us, a clear foundation as we construct the dream of us. In our shared dream, it is my preference to be in this relationship at this moment and to love everyone as well as myself unconditionally. That's some good stuff. I love that, man. This is the end of chapter 6. That's where I'll be stopping for the night. We're going to be starting chapter 7 tomorrow. It's getting good. It is getting good. All these levels have their benefits and limitations. We're going to discuss them. We're going to discuss how it is beneficial to be a fanatic about something. It's going to be an interesting thought. All right, look forward to it. See you guys soon.